Hello, Cornell students. My name is Brooke Paulson, and I'm the coordinator of academic support and advising. And as part of the first year seminar, we're going to spend a couple minutes together talking about active study strategies. So let's jump into that information.
So, we're going to start with some really basic college expectations. And I am assuming that many of you are already doing these things or plan to do so here. But I start with these extremely basic steps that students should take every single day because often when I am meeting with students who aren't as doing as well academically as they would like to be doing here, we find that a lot of these basic steps are being skipped. So, I want to give you guys the advantage of knowing from your previous Cornell students what are those expectations. So checking and responding to your Cornell email regularly. This is going to be the official communication that college offices use, that your professor uses, and even that classmates may use in information from the directory. So looking at it, coming up with a schedule each day of when you plan to check it is going to be to your advantage. Looking at Moodle regularly is also going to be important, especially as your class may have those hybrid components of online content. And so professors will be posting course readings here, you will be uploading assignments here, you may be engaging in discussion board, conversations with classmates about class content here, etc. Talking about doing the readings is something that often comes up in conversations in my office. And if we were all together, I would probably ask you to, close your eyes and raise your hand of who had to do the readings every single day for high school classes. And my guess is many of you, the answer would be no. But you're going to find that our professors want students to do the readings before coming to class to really enhance your ability to engage with course content and ask questions about things that were confusing or maybe something that didn't make sense between the readings, and to be able to learn from your classmates' interpretations of what was happening in the readings. The last basic expectation is to attend class. Every single class on the block plan. Things do move so quickly, and so much of our learning takes place through those classroom interactions, which may be virtual this year or maybe in person, depending on your class. And so making sure to prioritize those class times, whether they are a synchronous time that you're meeting via Zoom or they're a time that you're physically in the class, is going to be really important. Now we want to spend a little bit of time talking about time management because you are limited in the amount of hours you have each day. And so one important skill to develop is being able to prioritize what you want to be spending your time on and when during the day. So your professor will be setting those class hours, those specific times that you're in class or doing that virtually. And then the rest of the day is yours to schedule. Now you may have work schedules, you may have an athletic or a music schedule to work around for lessons or practice, and then the rest of the time is yours. And often when we are talking to students who maybe are struggling a bit, what we find is that the academic work is not being spread out throughout the day. Instead, they are socializing, doing their other activities, and then not turning to any readings or any review of content until 9, 10, 11 o'clock at night, and then trying to cram it all in before going to bed. So thinking about your entire day is really important to try to find those small chunks of time. It could be 15 minutes, it could be 20 minutes, it could be while you're eating lunch, it could be quickly after class before you have to go to your next activity. So trying to break it up throughout the day so that it's continuous. But if you do find that you have a day when you can't space it out at all and you're going to have to do a 3-hour stretch in the evening, because typically if you're in class about 4 hours a day, you should be doing academic work of 3 to 4 hours a day outside of class as well. Thinking about your class as a full-time academic job is one way to think about it. If you do have to do it all in one stretch, trying to break it up into 20 to 40-minute chunks of maybe doing a reading for that long, and then looking on Moodle and responding to a discussion post or a prompt, and then working on a group project you have coming up, kind of mixing it up between what types of assignments or activity you're doing. So let's also talk a little bit about how you're studying, because again, we're trying to use your time the most efficiently as possible because you are condensed on the block plan of only those 18 days, plus the weekends. One thing to think about is trying to find a way to actively study. If you think back to classes where you feel like you really learned the most, or that your teacher in high school really helped you prepare for those exams, my guess is you're going to be thinking of some of those active study strategies. You made your own flashcards, you made a study guide, you tried to summarize content. And so we want you to do the same thing here. While our professors may not be providing that study guide, you can still take the content from the class and create your own. So we definitely don't want you to fall behind, because Cornell classes do move quickly. They move at the speed of life. And so trying to think about this as studying is everything I do in this class from day one, from trying to make sure I'm doing the readings each day, from trying to make sure I'm taking notes in class, talking to my classmates about an assignment coming up, talking to my professor about content that's confusing. So making sure that you're doing something active each day is going to be to your advantage. So let's talk a little bit. This is a brief list of some potential strategies. There are many, many, many ways that you can you can approach your studying. The first 5 here are a little more on the passive side. And so I'm not saying don't do them. You do need to do the reading initially. You do need to listen, as your professor may, do a lecture or have a video for you to watch, or some other content in that way. But what we typically find is that just doing these basic skills here aren't going to be enough, and that you do need to take the next step to take that content from your readings or from your professor or from whatever source you have, and then elevate it in terms of how active you're being with it, finding ways to put it in your own words, comparing and contrasting different information, different theories, different concepts, so that you can understand, how are they similar, how are they different, how would I choose to use this person's concept in this situation. Our professors are asking students to think more critically. So instead of just memorizing and then telling that definition to the professor, you're being asked to do things like apply this information to a new situation, analyze it, explain why you would use it in this situation versus that situation. These more active learning strategies assist students in being able to do those more critical thinking skills. And again, these are just a few ideas. There's a lot more that you can launch into, and this is something that my office often does different workshops about, in helping students think about some new strategies they might want to use for studying. Using your notes is also a great strategy. Many times students may take notes and then they don't look at them again until the night before the test. That is not typically a strategy that works very well at Cornell College. So my advice to students is try to review your notes daily. This could be a quick 10 or 15 minutes after class when the content is a little more fresh. You can add a few more clarifying comments or an example, or clarify something if your writing is a little hard to read. You can rewrite out sections to explain it in your own words rather than using the words directly from the textbook. And it's a great way to test yourself on the information. Trying to find ways to test your knowledge will show you where you need to spend more time with your academic content. And so this could be by creating a Quizlet, studying with a partner, hiding the information with another piece of paper and then uncovering it, and among many others. So just a final note about active learning is that there are going to be strategies you try that don't work as well. We all experience a quiz that doesn't go as well as we want, or a test that doesn't go as well as we want. The important part from those failures, or from those situations where you didn't get the outcome you were hoping for, is to learn from them and find a new strategy or something to take away from it to try differently next time. Many times folks feel like they've had to, adapt their strategies to be successful at Cornell, and that, the learning does feel harder. But that is when learning is actually happening, and that it is stronger and it's going to stick with your long-term memory. So don't give up. If it's feeling like it's hard, it's feeling like it's requiring more effort, that is really okay. Another piece is to try, whenever possible, to connect new information with information you already know. If you're able to build upon pieces of knowledge that already make sense to you, that are already in your long-term memory, that's a great way to build faster connections, to be able to understand this information more quickly. And that is a great way to continue to build your knowledge and to do it quickly within the time frame of the block plan. I wish you all the best in this first block at Cornell College. Please feel free to stop by my office and say hello in the library. Please work closely with your professors because they want to see you do well. They want to see you learn, and they want to be a resource to you. So come visit us in the library, visit with your professors, talk to your classmates, and good luck with your learning.